Thanks for clicking on this channel. Please subscribe to FO's blog and click on the notification button so that whenever we upload a new video you will be notified. The Ga people of Accra in Ghana migrated from Benin City to the present-day Ghana. Some passed through Ife before arriving in Accra, while majority left Benin City directly to Accra. Watch, as Izadawa explains, and their annual festival in remembrance of the day they left Benin City.
Okay, in order not to... Okay, we can basically start. For a while now, I have been no, it wasn't before one. A game lover. I did wait for now. So for a while now, we've been consistently trying to interact on different scales of our historical connection to all of our people, within Edo and outside Edo, and we've been doing that consistently. It is through that concept that we've been able to understand our historical connection to our people outside Nigeria context. I didn't give you. Have I thought of that? No. We started Prince Omonoya. All right. I should have done that much earlier, but I should have done that much earlier, so, but we started. So we're going to make it as interactive, like I said earlier, as possible. People can call in through the you can join us through and also contribute. Basically, we'll be traveling to Accra, Ghana this next month, just about a month from now or less. So first, if we look at our calendar, someone can check. First Saturday of July will be what dates? Allowance calendar. How do they use this calendar? Okay. Yes, we're having less than a month. We're having 1, 2, 3. Next, okay, first Saturday of July is on the 2nd. Wow, that's so early. So on the 2nd of July, so that means technically I'm to travel to, or we are to travel to Accra July 1st. July 1st. So that will be first. July 2nd is the first Saturday of July. So a festival, like I've always said, is held to re-establish or to reconnect these Benin people to where they migrated from. So on that festival, they call it Obeneshimo Festival, and that festival holds every first Saturday of July every year. So this year's first Saturday is July 2nd. So it is rather very important that we speak on some of these matters, and we'll be able to brainstorm on how we can find ways to have more numerical strength. This time around, we have always, I went alone last year. It is rather correct. It is rather more correct for other persons to accompany me to this very important trip, to participate in the remembrance of the day that the Ga Nongwa people left Benin. There are no historical doubts about these historical connections, as all of that has been established in our previous two visitations. What there we must establish now is to continue the fellowship of our brotherhood, is to continually and this year there might be other surprise package, like I've always said, because we are trying to get the palace of His Royal Majesty. Possibly the notification might have been very short, but I'm hoping, I'm praying by the power of God and our ancestors that the Oba of Benin should be able to might be able to grant some of his chiefs to accompany us to Accra. We are just hoping. That is under the pipeline. I cannot give you I'm not too certain, but one or two persons are pressing in that regard. All right, one or two persons are pressing in that regard because what the plans that we are having, is that there will be a conference between the Edo people and the Nongwa people. So that's also under the pipeline. I was contacted 3 days ago. They want to be very certain of the numbers of the people that are living Benin, so as to start earnest preparation in anticipation of receiving us and taking care of us to an extent. So what we have under the pipeline is that we're intending to have a conference where we can now begin to how do I put it? A conference where we'll now begin to discuss on the way forward, having established our relationship as a people, as one people established by God and our ancestors. What is the way forward? How do these relationships metamorphose into something that we better the Nongwa people, the Nongwa people and the Benin people, the same Ga people that went to Ife. Choice one, if you've been following my program, you would understand that there's no cause for alarm for that. I will explain that not all Ga people, some sections of the Ga people. I've taken my time, okay, for the purpose of those people who have not been around when I have established our Ga history or the Benin relationship with the Ga people. So I was just going to take you through this class today. All right, again, there is nothing wrong for some certain Ga people to go and see the Ile-Ife people, but not all Ga people can go to Ile-Ife people. There are some Ga people that had one or two historical passing through relationship. You know, I'm quite close to these people. I remember when the Oni had said that they had the house of their origin. When they said that, when the Oni had said that there's a house that the Ga people originated from. So the Ga people make further clarification for that we couldn't have originated from Ile-Ife, knowing fully well that we passed through Ile-Ife. So passing through should not be deceptively misconstrued as origin. Passing through, like I said, the Ga people did not even originate from Benin. Their origin, the origin of the Ga people, is beyond Nigeria. They didn't originate from Nigeria. Alright, they have their history of migration, passing through several lands for hundreds of years until they got to Benin land and fully settled. Alright, people should not misinterpret this history. I'm giving you the raw history. I'm not giving you the lies that they are lying. The Ga people does not have their origin from Nigeria. Alright, they trace their origin from the Middle East. So they were traveling through from the Middle East to Africa, passed through a lot of countries before they got to a place now called Nigeria. Passing through Bayelsa, according to them, then before they now eventually got to Benin, and they settled for hundreds of years. Alright, for one reason, during the course of that settlement, there were intermarriages. The Benins married their women, their men married the Benin women. So that is where their sexual connection was not established. It was established that the sons of the future generations of the Ga people were either maternally Benin or paternally Benin, or either maternally Ga or paternally Ga. So, but they could still understood the original families that migrated into Edo land. So they were, but a lot of things happened that the history might not be able to recollect. Alright, they were not poised to further move down. They were not poised to further move down. They were not poised to further move down, and when they did that, they had large numbers of people. So the only way was to have two groups, the formation of two groups. The first group was a group of the old people, the old men, the old women, the old men, and the children, as well as the farmers. According to them, there were the farmers, the children, the old men, and the old women. The weaker group. So they asked those people to move, because if the entire population of these Ga people that are not the Benin Ga people, because intermarriages have been struck over these years, so if they are to move in one fold, all right, Benin Kingdom people, the Oba of Benin will notice that they are leaving, and questions and eyebrows can be raised. So instead, they needed to break into a group that the first group will move first, while the second group will move at a later day. Eventually, the first group moved. When they moved, they passed through Ile-Ife. This first group that had the old men, the old women, they moved. When they moved, they passed through Ile-Ife. All right, they passed through Ile-Ife, and that was the first group. Now the second group moved at a later date. They were the medicine men, they were the warriors. All right, they were the youths, the most viable part of the population. All right, they moved at a later date. When those one moved, the second batch that moved from Benin, they did not branch anywhere. They went straight, passing through Benin Republic, Togo, until they arrived at the mouth of River Volta in present-day Ghana. That is where they now established. And that people who later moved, they are regarded as the Nongwa. You know, in Ga has different clans that makes up of the Ga people. It's just like in Benin, you will say that someone from Orion or someone from Uhumo, there's someone from Ovia, that sort of a thing. In the Ga people, they also have different clans. The Nongwa were the second batch of the group that left Benin. Alright, they went straight, they didn't branch anywhere, they went straight to the present day Accra. So the first group that left, that passed through Ile-Ife, stayed for some months or few years. One cannot be very exact. It could have been for some months or for some few years. But the Nongwa people, the later ones that left Benin, had already gotten to Accra few years later or few months later, before the first batch that left Benin eventually came to meet them. So when they came to meet them, it was this now Nongwa people, the second batch that left Benin, that not gave them lands to settle, because they have already prepared the way for them to come. So now that this is where the discrepancies is. The first batch that left Benin have an historical ties for the few years they might have stayed in Ile-Ife. But it is wrong, deceptively, for Ile-Ife people to now say that this set of the Ga people has an origin of the Ile-Ife people. One cannot deny that they migrated through the Ile-Ife land. This is why the Nongwan people who left without branching on the other place now established a festival that recognizes the day they left Benin. So, choice, one area, you see, there are no discrepancies from the historical perspective that are given to you. So why some branch of the Ga people can go to Ile-Ife, the Nongwa people can never go to Ile-Ife, because there was never a time, they don't have any affiliation to Ile-Ife, because they never passed through Ile-Ife. Alright, so that is why it's when a lot of persons, some chiefs and some Enige in Benin Kingdom, when they saw that some of the Ga people went to see and they tried to raise an eyebrow, they contacted me. So I gave them the same history. Alright, I gave them the same history. Alright, I gave them the same history. So that's why there's nothing anybody should raise the public eyebrow for. If we want the Nongwa people to come to see the Oba of Benin tomorrow, they will come. So that's not an issue. What I can assure you that the Nongwa people who understands, who are the keeper of this history, understands clearly, and they own Accra, because every other later tribes that eventually came to meet them at the present day of Greater Accra, and they give most of those lands and all of that to the residents or residents of Accra or Accra indigenes. So obviously, sometime July last year, we did I did a live video, and everybody who joined, it was a bit late because of the time, about an hour time difference, joined, and you heard everything from the horse's mouth. Nobody has to cajole anybody. All right, I like to be always to be able to dwell in fact. I like to always well, CJ man, well, it's not true. The palace do not recognize Igayo's migration theory. The palace do not recognize Igayo's migration theory. The palace do not recognize it, do not agree with it. As an historian, you are at every liberty to write based on the information that you have, either authentic or either fake. For a moment, I will look for a book now, if God willing, if I'm able to see. I remember there's a book that I'll look for a book now. There is an excerpt that was written by Obairi, our blessed memory. Let me see whether I can be able to get the book and read it. I think it was From Birth to Death, so that you will know that the palace will not agree with Igarewa's work. I'm just let me see. I just raised this book, you know. Okay, I think I remember the book. It's not this one. The book is, go and read the forward. I'll probably will get a copy of the forward and I'll publish it. I'm going to type it, I'm going to publish it. The title, the forward for this book, Evolution of Benin Chieftaincy Title, written by Basimi Ena Eweka. Basimi Ena Eweka. Evolution of Benin Chieftaincy Title. What? If any of you have a copy, read the forward of it. The forward was written by Omo Erede, our blessed memory. he completely disagreed with Igarewa's work on migration, and he agreed to what the likes of Professor OSB, late Professor OSB Omorige, talked about, that the Benin's never migrated from anywhere. We were created. If what Igarewa said, and it was corroborated by the works of Iyase, that if what Igarewa said is correct, it therefore means that the people who migrated into Benin land, came to meet the original Benin people, and they became Benins. But obviously, when you call the original Benin people, at what instances or historically, does not have proof. Migration itself is not origin, just like I've explained that some forces in Ile-Ife deceptively wants to manipulate the history of the Ga people by trying to confuse the people of the difference between origin and migration. These are two different things. If I migrate through your land, does not mean I originated from there. Alright, Igarewa could not tell. He only propounded. Like I said, I did an extensive work because it's more of like an article, so that's why I've not published it. I have to publish it in all of these recognized academia magazines. It talked about the lives and times of Jacob Uwade Igarewa, as told by Professor Oyinlawo Oswanlele. Now, Uwade Igarewa was influenced by earlier historians, like chief among all of them was Chief Percy Amori Talbot, who believed that every civilization, what they eventually called, I think I've explained this 1,000 times, what they eventually will now be called Hamitic hypothesis, wherefore any civilized society like the Benin had came from Egypt, because the white people believe that at that time of history, the white people believe that the Egyptian civilization was as a result of that they were white people, which with more sophisticated researches, scientific researches, proved that the original Egyptians were actually black, they were not white. Now, because he had the notion that he had the notion that the original Egyptians were white people, he feel that because the Benins were civilized, the only way that we could have had that mind of civilization is that we came from Egypt, not because they were historical fact or empirical fact that could establish our origin from Egypt. It was a mindset of this same superior inferiority concept of mindset, whereby they feel that everything that is bad or archaic or everything that is mundane has to be black. Everything that is superior, everything that is advanced, everything that is civilized has to be white. So that's why he propounded, and that's some of the earlier influencer of the life and times of Jacob Uwade Igarewa. So when he was writing The Origin of Benin, so he wrote in line with some of the texts of works that he had read. You get, so that is why he was writing according to the concept of the likes of the Percy Amori Talbot and co. Alright, so basically that's why Igarewa, you can only write basically based on the information that you have or the environment that could have influenced. If I want to write now, the way I'm going to write will be in tandem with what I know, what my ideas are about history, what my ideas are. Well, every historian basically are biased. I don't think they are. It depends on your interest. If any, it depends on your interest. Every historians generally are biased. Some write, all right, It's just like the earliest Yoruba historians wrote to favor Oyo. The earliest Yoruba historians wrote to favor Oyo because they were Oyo historians until other historians who were more affiliated to Ile-Ife begins to crop up, and then now begins to write history that favors Ile-Ife and all of that. So if an Ile-Ife person's right is going to write to favor write a Yoruba history that's going to favor Ile-Ife, well, if an Oyo person writes, is going to write a Yoruba history that favors Oyo. So there's always an element of sentiment attached to every writer. It depends on where his or her interest lies. All right. So basically, that's it. I don't believe. As a matter of fact, I'm not saying like the fact there are no overwhelming evidence to prove that what I am saying is correct. Neither there are no overwhelming evidence to also prove that what Jacob Owade-Agarawa wrote is also correct. But what we generally believe as an ancient civilization like the Benin people, God created us in a dull land. We didn't move. Alright, we didn't move. God created us, yes, just like God created the original Egyptians in Egypt, or where God created the Nubian, in the valleys of the Niles. So from scientific perspective, I've always said this: evolution, scientifically proven, it is believed that evolution took place in different places at the same time or at different time on the surfaces of the earth. So while people were existing in far Asia, people were existing in Northern Africa, some people were already also existing in Western Africa, and these are creations, multiple evolutions of humanity at different phases of the earth. So I don't believe that we must now have to be contentiously trying to now have a sort of a divergent evolutionary concept. All right, divergent evolutionary concept means that the evolution of mankind started from one source. Where is the source? Where is the source? We continue to look for one source with the belief that there are several sources. So I don't want us. I've seen a lot of Benin people because I'm not very receptive to I'm not very receptive to, how do I put it? I'm not very receptive to what they say or what they argue. I've seen a lot of Benin people trying to tie us to Sudan, trying to tie us to Egypt and all of that. I just laughed. I believe that they will have more mortal problems of trying to figure out where in Sudan or where in Egypt that the Benin people migrated from. Alright, we are old civilizations like us. Basically, they didn't migrate from anywhere. I believe we didn't migrate from anywhere. If anybody migrated, they came to meet the Aboriginal Benin people on this land. And it's not a difficult thing for us to understand. So I'm just reacting to the question that our brother asked, as about whether Agarawa's history about Benin's migration is in tandem, was agreed, or was how do I put it? That the palace agreed to read. No, the palace didn't agree to read. Why I knew that the palace didn't agree to read was the forward. I wish I have the forward. I wish I have that book. It's quite rare. But the forward of that book, you can get it from anywhere. Ask if you eventually get a copy of that book, go straight to the forward and look at what Omoyere said when on the book that was written by Naiweka. The forward of the book, the title of the book is Evolution of Benin Chieftaincy Titles. Alright? Evolution of Benin Chieftaincy Titles. then you see that already I had said that Iraiwa's theory of migration is not accepted by the Benin, but what is more plausible is that the Benins were created by God in this land. So if we go with the concept of Gemoba said, so that means we have to agree with what the palace have said, and with what the palace have said, we're created here. So, and that's it. And that's it. So that's it. So basically, going back to today's what we're going to talk about, I didn't want us questions came, so I needed to just trash that one out. It's basically of the trip to Ghana. Basically, it's of two alternatives. I'm in talk with a lot of Edo people already, and first we have to raise funds. We have to raise funds. We have to raise resources. We have to raise funds to embark on that travel. We have to raise funds to embark on the travel. Then we have to also see people who will volunteer to travel, whether with their own resources, because to make that travel is quite expensive one. You have to buy flight ticket, and then you have to take care of some basic logistics. So, and for those who are very zealous to go, we'll all make donations. And so, but the point is, I don't want to be the only one to go alone. It does not represent the history. It does not represent our interest. No, we know that we are not. If it was other society that really recognizes all of these opportunities that God has given to us, we should be able to. We shouldn't even be thinking about how to raise resources. The resources ordinarily would have been long made available, and some very few distinguished Edo people would have been handpicked to follow through the process. So for me, I believe that there isn't any time. We have 1 month, so we have about 1 week or so to raise resources. And then for those who wishes to go, could contact me directly. Those who are based here in Nigeria could contact me, or those who are based. I'm not just looking for. I know we have quite a lot of our people in Accra. All right, I'm going to reach out to them anytime soon. All right, but I'm also looking at 1, 2, 3, 4 persons accompany me to that journey. So so for those who might really want to go but don't have the resources to go, we have to collectively raise resources so that they can go. And for those who have the resources to go, can quickly should also reach out to me directly, and then so that we can start making preparations. And if our brother here was live with us, I could have asked him how much it will take to book a ticket from Lagos to Accra. These are some of the, I think that's the bulk of the logistics. That's the bulk of the logistics, and so every other ones are just food and hotel bills. For me, I don't think I will pay hotel bills. All right, I don't think I'll pay hotel bills. For me, I've already been giving. I'm not like a citizen of Accra now. So, like the son of Chise Bubu Wolomo actually told me that there's always an accommodation that is free for me, and that it's on the council of the traditional house for free accommodation, free food, free everything for me whenever I come to Accra. So I'm not really too concerned about me. I'm really concerned about other people would have who I would like them to so would have I would have liked them to accompany me and all of that. So that's about it. So we have to brainstorm. We have to be very we have to think through about it and see how we can put our resources. So it's about that, and so I think that's what the topic for today is all about. And so let's see how we can make it worthwhile. Like I said, we're also in talk with the palace of the Oba of Benin, so to see if some of the chiefs can be sent forth along with us for this journey to Accra. All right, so let me drink some water. Bigger. So if there are contributions, contributions to this, you let me know, and if your contribution to, we should be able to collectively agree on this matter. Sure, it doesn't have to be like it was a single-handed decision that was taken by me, and that's why I brought it to this platform for us to collectively speak on the matter and find ways that we can make it worthwhile for all of us. So like I said, today is not an history class. You're not going to be discussing anything beyond this, but hello? I will chat here, man. I'm waiting, man. What going on? We'll be off. Hello? Diana, what? Diana, yeah, I'm about. Oh, go. Okay. I'll be my way. While okay. All right. Okay. Yeah. Well, it's easy for you to say, Princess, that I should have come out with a figure. I've been told by some other of our respected IPAs and all of that, to come up with a figure. But you know these things, like, what figures can I come up with? None of those figures are statutory, because the bigger figures, I think I heard the hotel bills is 200 cedis for a night, so 4 nights is 800 cedis. People can calculate that to naira. Then the flight tickets should cost over 200,000, certainly. So the bulk of the money goes, 50% of the bulk of the money goes into flight. So somewhat 350, 400,000 will be an expenses for one person, which is quite big for one person. So if we're gathering money for 2 persons, we're going to be looking at 800,000. Then for 3 persons, for 1.2 million. So, but these are just guesses. They are not, but it should be an average of that amount, either a little bit more than or a little bit below. So your Benin language will be like UK English, very clear. Why not tag me? So I know. I think Princess Osamudi and Osaro David, you guys should coordinate this. She's actually good in coordinating when it comes to money issue. Princess and Osaro, you people should coordinate this. Reach out to as much as you people can reach out. Then some persons who are interested in donating, you guys should reach out to them and compile the list of the donors. Compile the list of the donors, and then so we can always publish it. We can always publish it on our page so that people can show a very high level of transparency, so people can know that their money is being used for what was called out for the money to be used for. But certainly, like I've always said, whether they are donations or they are not, I will be there. Certainly, I've already spoken with the high sort of high priest, their king there, and so it's actually they are already anticipating and receiving us. Basically, I went alone last year. It's not correct from all standard that I should go alone again this year. All right, so that everybody over there shouldn't think that now let me just do Benin Kingdom, Matebonia. So, but they man will say her, man say ne. It's way better. There's more respect than just one person. So I don't want it to be about Izodo. I want it to be about Benin Kingdom, and it's not on behalf of Association of Great Benin Descendants. Yeah, they are the catalyst of it. But I'm trying to now outgrown groups. I'm trying to now outgrown groups. I'm trying to more of like a patriot of the kingdom. So I belong to every group. All right, the ones that are not self-centered, that they are very selfless. I can't work with people that are self-centered. You have to be selfless enough for me to see before I cannot begin to want to relate with you or with the group. And so Anamuwewa, and I'm away. So you reach out to all of our people that are in Ghana, so that now we're so now we're all bedrooms all that. So I'm just so I think that'll be our topic for today. And if there are questions to ask, I will just give 4 to 5 minutes. If there are questions to be asked, ask. If there are no questions, we can round up now. We can round up now. But Sarah, David, and Princess, as usual, should coordinate. As usual, should coordinate everything. Should coordinate everything on behalf of our group, our Facebook. Say the position fits you well. Now the position they always fit well. But see, I ogwash you, sir. Ogwash you, sir. Ogwash. Now my party. No worry, Princess. When you come Benin, I will host you. I will host you. I will take care of you very well, because you've been a wonderful friend. So you nobody feel insult you now, you insult them. Where nobody offends. Oh, why are you insulting and where I read the baby monuena make una manager like that. I know say she get problem, but it's mine. O mother get be ega boy why ya boy why ya boy it's man on man. All right, I'm rounding up now, ladies and gentlemen. I thank all of you for joining us for today's class, and I should be able to hope that we talk about history class next week Sunday. And so I appreciate those who have always been very supportive. I appreciate all of you. So I'll see you guys next week Sunday. I'll back up, bro. This